Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I am on today with a hashtag crafty whip weekend, and it's not so much a work in progress as much as a starting something, which will then be a work in progress. But I'm basically going to show you how to make an accordion journal in the same sort of style that I made that grungy art journal recently. So that was this one here. So it's got all the different layers and different heights of paper, and then it just opens out for miles. I'm not going to do it in necessarily the same style, but I am going to do it in the same kind of structure. So that's what we're going to do today. And so if you want to do this as well and you are curious as to how I put it together, then what you will need is a load of papers in varying different sizes. So I've got some papers that are embossed ones that I've previously embossed that I might use for like the front and back sort of covers, and then I've got some bits of newspaper. So this is from a free paper that I got from a garden centre nearby, and some more bits of magazines and stuff, some flyers, some junk mail, some leaflets, just some tea-dyed papers that I've got, and it doesn't matter what is on them. I've got some jelly plate prints that I've made in the past, or like brayer offs and that sort of thing. But yeah, it doesn't matter what is on the paper. It's what I will also be doing is gessoing the pages as well afterwards, so you can so it'll like knock back some of the colours. Yeah, some gift wrap in there, so it's just kind of stuff that I've got lying around in my stash. So that'll be for the actual pages, and it's not going to be all of them. This is just things that I've got to pull from. What you'll also need is like reinforcement papers. So here I've got a load of like small scraps of stuff that I will put on like the folds and the joins, just to make sure it doesn't just fall apart. So these are just the narrow things. This is watercolour things I've made. This is just some scrappy little things that I've tea dyed in the past, just like offcuts and that sort of thing. So you could also use fabric for that if you wanted to as well. Coffee dyed, more just like scrappy bits of gesso and that sort of thing. And then you'll need some stuff to hold it together with. So I like using this tape, which is like masking tape, and I like it because it's quite strong, but it's also quite porous. So if you want to put like inks and paints and stuff in it, you can do. And then I've also got just a white tacky glue here as well. And then you'll probably want to make sure it doesn't go above a certain height. So although it will be different heights, the paper, you will want to just like, so this one doesn't go above here. So this is 7 inches tall. So, and that's quite a good height for it. So when you're cutting down your bits of paper, you'll just want to maybe rip or cut, or however you want to do it, however neatly you want to do it, into that sort of height. So yeah, I'm going to cut down some of this paper to make it again about 7 inches, and then I will come back. Now it doesn't matter what width they are, it's more about the height. So whether they are kind of this width or like this width, it doesn't matter, because what we will end up doing is sticking them all together and then just deciding on a page width at that point. So yeah, so don't worry too much about how long it is, just how tall it is at this point. And any kind of offcuts that you make, you can add those to your pile for your reinforcements as well, because some of them might be quite pretty like that one is. So make sure you're not just throwing your scrap bits away willy-nilly. Yeah, so I will just do the rest and speed that up and come back. Okay, so now we've got lots of different options for pages, and now I just like to kind of split them into piles of sort of the heights, so the shorter ones and the longer ones, just so that I don't go overboard on one and not the other. So just put them into piles. So now we have two piles. This is the short height and this is the bigger height. So now it's time to stick them together. So first of all, you want to kind of decide on what your front is going to be. So I wanted it to be one of these embossed ones. This is a bit messy at the end, so not going to do that one. Maybe this one, because it's a nice little frame, and then I could maybe pop something in the middle there. So that would be, no, because that would be the back, wouldn't it? So not that one. Maybe just this one then. So it's kind of wooden effect and just some dots. Yeah, don't overthink it too much because you could be there all day wondering what way around it's going to go. But yeah, so you want to do it so that this is the outside. So because I'm using embossed paper, I want the embossed side to be on the outside. And now we just start gluing the bits together in a long line using our glue and tape. Well, either or both if you want. So I will get started, speed it up, and you can play along. Now, just while I remember as well, when I've seen people like Meg from Meg Journals making these no-sew accordion type journals, she very much does it so that, I think she does it so that like the joins are where it folds, whereas that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing it in one big line and then I'll make up where the fold goes in a bit. So at the moment, like I said, it does not matter how long your individual sort of pages are, because they might not be your actual pages. Okay, so let's get sticking. And also, I remember that's the reason why I did these two piles as well, is because there's a lot of paper here, so we're not going to use it all. So you're going to want to just, so that then you can kind of pull from either side, like the short sides or the tall ones. And also if you kind of want to get that layered look, then maybe leave the taller ones for later on in the journal, so it's more in the middle, so then you kind of get that layered look. I'll just show you on the other one I made, so it kind of goes up like that on one side, and then if you turn it over, it also goes up like that there, so you can kind of see not every individual layer, but you can see a lot of the layers. Okay, right, I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to start making it. And just one more thing while I remember, you want the bottom, it's probably pretty self-explanatory, but just because I just remembered, you want all the bottom to be the same level. So you don't want to stagger the bottom, you just want to stagger the top. Okay. Okay, so we've now got it all stuck together, and this is massive. So it's going to be an absolute beast. As you can see, I started off low, went higher, and then went low again. And I stuck everything on this side. But I will be going on the other side and sticking it all together. And this first page was really long, it was like a 4-page fold out. So now we can turn it over and stick it all down on the other side. Okay, so that is that all stuck down, and don't forget we will be reinforcing this all with our little bits that we had from before as well, so that's why I haven't been massively careful about sticking it all down, because we're going to be adding bits of paper to actually reinforce everything. So now we will do the folding part, so we can decide how wide we want the book to be. Let's get back to the beginning again, and I've got it down. Let's put it the way around. Now, if you've got a really big craft desk, then obviously this might be a little bit easier for you, but as I've just got this little table, it's a little bit more tricky, and I keep coming off camera because my camera arm is literally here, so I can't get the so it's in the way basically. So let's see, what size do we want it? So we probably want it maybe this length, the same as this front page. So then all we want to do is zigzag fold it at the same length. So that is, and this is where we need the bottom bits to be equal as well. So just about there. And then this one goes like this, flip it over, how we want it. There. Now if you do get it a little bit off, then that's okay, and you can probably fix it later on. It just means that it might not shut entirely properly, but you can mess about with it afterwards. So let's finish doing this. Okay, and now we are at the end. So what you might want is you might want this to just kind of fold over the end like that, or you might want to fold it in. What I did in my last one was I folded it in, I put an eyelet in and attached a bit of string, so you can kind of do what you want really. So that is it that way. What you'll probably want to do next is just take your bone folder and just give it a nice press. Now, I did go way off, way off in the end, so I don't really mind. Just give it a nice burnish down. However you want. And then you will be able to open it like this, so you can turn these pages. And this is what I mean about when you haven't quite done it. You can just do that if you want. And this is one side of it. Again, this wrapping paper side. That's one side, that's the back, and then just open it the other way. So now we've got the bare kind of structure of it. Now what we're going to want to do is go back in, and that's the front again, go back in with our little bits. You remember from before? We had all these bits that we were going to use as kind of reinforcements, and that's what we're going to do now, is stick these on, but we're going to stick them on both in where it's going to fold on both sides, and also on some of these bits where we've done the stuck the bits of paper together. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with the reinforcements. I've got paper falling on me from all angles because I haven't tidied it away. There we go. So yeah, let's start sticking that down. And again, you can just use whatever you've got to hand, whatever goes with. If you're doing like a certain theme, then you might want to use that theme. Now I'm taking the end off of this again just because that's a very, very small stream of glue, which is great sometimes, but when you're trying to get decent coverage, it's sometimes good just to quicker just to do it that way. So we don't have to go all the way up, and what we will also probably do at some point as well is stick other bits of papers to some of the thinner bits just to reinforce it, so don't get too attached to what is actually on the paper. And like I said, we'll also be doing some gessoing at some point too. Look how cool this is. she says, saying don't get too attached to what's on the paper. Some of it you can keep. And you also might want to do a little bit of layering if it's, so this bit, the glued bit and the other thing, what's it called, fold, I don't know any words, are quite close together, so you might want to just do a little bit of layering just to give that extra bit of reinforcement there, like that. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so that is one side done, and then we basically just flip it over and do the other side. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I will come back and show you the next step. So once we have all that stuck down, then we just get our bone folder again and just refold it in all the places that we had it folded previously, because obviously the new bits of paper now need to be folded in. Now my glue is still a little bit wet, so it might not quite work, but and I also just kind of roughly glue them in place because I will stick them down properly at a later date. But yeah, then just go back through and just refold your book. It does seem quite a long-winded way of doing this, and you've probably got way more efficient ways of doing it. It's quite therapeutic, and if you want that kind of messy look to it, then you've got to put the work in. So I will just go back through and refold all my folds and come back. Okay, so I ended up refolding it a bit because I'd gone way off with it, but this is it. So you can see that it kind of gradients up the way, and if you turn it over, back down the way. So when you decorate it, you can have all sorts of things peeking up and round and through. And then let's just have a look at it. Now when I did this, the glue is still wet, and it's still wet now, so I will have to unstick it. But again, that's okay. You can just add bits to it. You can reinforce it. It's always a work in progress, so you can do what you want. Every single one of these pages are stuck together still. My hands are covered in glue. Oops. And then next time when I come back, look how stuck that is, I will go over it all with gesso. Now if you flip it this way as well, it also kind of gives you that opportunity to refold any folds if you need to, if they're a little bit out. And also add any more, so say I wanted to then reinforce that, I could do that. All that there. But again, these are decisions that you can make when you are actually decorating it. You might decide that you want to stick something across it anyway, so then it'll be reinforced. That's absolutely fine. I wonder how many times I've said reinforced in this video. So that's one side, and then you flip it, and we've got the other side. So I hope you enjoyed this little, let's not call it a tutorial because it was a big fat mess, but this walkthrough maybe of how I made my grungy accordion journal. So leave me a comment below, let me know what you think. Please do like if you liked it and subscribe if you are not already. Thank you to everyone that is new here, and if you are a returner, thank you for coming back. I will be back again soon with something new. Like I said, the next time I work on this journal we'll be doing the gessoing, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day and week and everything, and I'll see you then soon.